welcome to the Joy Link, where we empower and inspire you to expand in joy. I'm your co-host Brian, and I'm joined by Julia. Julia, how are you today?
Hello. It's a take number 2, so I'm doing a great second time in the row. And today I'm excited because we're talking about challenges. And sometimes when doing something new, you come across a lot of challenges. But what is the first thing that we're going to talk about is the challenge and the progress and how those leads to joy and happiness. We'll be also talking about how to be bold while facing challenges, and also how to prime yourself for the challenges that you face in life, and also about 5 levels of your self-talk and how to get subconscious on your side. You really need that. And we'll end with easy to do or not task of the week. So let's dive into it. So we are talking about, okay, what is challenge? Let's start easy. What is your definition of challenge, Brian?
Challenges, things that really push us to do more, be more, show up in a different way. They are not easy, and sometimes we don't like them,
Exactly. I think we don't like
but they're
them.
good for us.
Yes, they are good for us. So it's like exercises, right? We sometimes don't like that, but it's good for us. So challenge to me is something that is out of our comfort zone. It's an experience that maybe we are not familiar with. And the first few times it is challenging for us, which is like requires something extra from us, like something that we need to really work on or be very conscious of. So this is challenge to me, that is something that is this push, but at the same time, this sense of doing something for the first time because we are not comfortable while being challenged.
Right.
So for me, like one of the challenges is, for example, when I climb a high mountain. So last year I climbed Mont Blanc without the guide, just with my best friend, and I was well prepared. I'm in the great shape. But the thing is that if I never climbed that freaking mountains before, the exact mountain, like I cannot be prepared for every obstacle that is coming, that I'm going to come across, right? So it's you can be prepared until certain point, but at some point you will hit that limit and you are like pretty much on your own. And I think that's what I would call a challenge.
Right. Yeah. And there's nothing like actually doing it, right?
Like,
That's the difference between like the knowledge of, oh, I need to do this to achieve a task versus the actual experience of doing it. But challenges are incredibly important for
exactly,
lives.
because challenges is the only thing that can actually lead to grow.
Correct.
Because to growth, because if you challenge yourself, then you slowly expand in certain areas of your life. So it's and yeah, like yeah, so there is this correlation between challenges and the growth. And when you grow and you start seeing, for example, where you are today and where you were a year ago, you see the progress, and that would leads to ultimate life satisfaction, happiness, and of course joy. So here you have the answer of the episode: how does challenge leads to joy? That's it. You can stop listening. No, I'm kidding. There is more good stuff coming.
Right.
So there is Tony Robbins. I'm sure you know him. If not, he's a great motivational speaker, a brilliant business owner, and more. But he works with a huge minds of the word. And he said this: progress equals happiness. Even if you are not where you want to be yet, if you are on the road, if you are improving, if you are making progress, you're gonna love it. You are gonna feel alive. And that's super important for us to, end quote, but that's super important for us to have that mindset when we're going through the hardships, because the truth is that even if you do something difficult and you don't have results, but you continue, you will start seeing the change. But if you stop, it's impossible for you to see it. That was my mindset at the beginning of my business. Like, until I'm doing it, until I'm not giving up, I'm okay. If I will give up, then I'm giving up on my dreams and the regret will come in. I was 100% sure of that. So there is no place to quit. But yeah, Brian, I'm curious, like, how can you face the challenges in the bold way? Because, yeah, I'm asking for a friend.
Right. Yeah, this is actually where the rubber hits the road, right? It's like there's the ideas, but then we've actually got to put them into practice. So, yeah, I recently read a book by Amy Cuddy, It's called Bringing Your Boldest Self to Your Biggest Challenges. And, Amy's pretty sweet. Her TED Talk is like the second most popular of all time. She pretty much explains the science of how to cultivate your personal power to bring your boldest self to those biggest challenges.
I'm listening.
Right. So Amy tells us that you'd think the opposite of powerlessness must be power, yet it's not really that simple, right? It really comes down to presence and that's the name of the book. And so that presence comes from believing and trusting in yourself, like that real, honest feelings and values and abilities, right? And that's really important because if you don't trust yourself, then how is anybody else going to as well? That presence is important whether you're talking to a couple people or you're talking to 5,000 people, if it's online or in person, right? We all face those moments that are asking us to do it with poise and calm so that we can feel good about ourselves and really make, like you said, progress in our lives. And presence gives us that power to rise in those moments.
I
Right.
love that. I love that because a lot of people, I was traveling since a young age, moving home, like, and everyone was like, Julia, you are so brave. And for me, I never really got it, but I think it's that is the trust that I had within myself, that I was doing a lot of things that kind of cultivated my relationship with myself, that I could rely on myself, that I knew that this is the only thing, is that if I never put myself in the situation that was endangering, okay, I have done it, but not that I didn't make it through, right? So there was always like this sense of trust between me and me, which is a little bit crazy, but a lot of people, they do make the decisions that they are reckless to say easily, right? To say lightly, because yeah, and it's okay, it's on them, but this is the trust that, like, have I ever been in the situation, or have I ever put myself into really deep down shitty position? Like, no, that was the truth. And I was like, okay, then it's pretty good, so
Right.
and based on that, like the trust like really helped me to go for things. And yes, I really like it how to face the challenges is to be present, but it's also to trust yourself. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. And the funny thing about that is when we're younger, we have this very bold confidence that we can do anything. We can fly, we can right, go to the moon or whatever it is. And when we're young, it's important to explore and really push those boundaries because it gets a little harder when you're older and you haven't done as much. And then you get really in this bubble and then start coming the no words. No, I don't want to do that. Right. Oh, I don't want to do that. And so when you really embrace those choices early of really daring to do, let's say, difficult things or new things, then when you're older, you'll have that trust that's really ingrained. And then you continue making decisions that are built around trust because whatever it is, you're going to be able to pull it off. Because look at all that track record.
That's amazing. And I
Right.
think that's exactly what I've done when I was little. I've tried so many things and my parents were always allowing me to do this. Like whatever I felt like it, I could try it. And I had a lot of freedom to explore. So I think that makes the whole difference. But it's also like there is this a lot of in the personal growth concept and industry, there is a lot about being yes person, that being no versus yes person. And for me, I'm a yes person. Whatever somebody's saying, if somebody will call me, guys, don't get encouraged. But if somebody was saying, hey, Julia, like it seems like it's pretty cool to go to the moon and back, and there is this thing, 99% that I will say yes.
Yes.
Like literally, I say yes to so many things, except I say yes to crazy stuff just to try it, just to see how it is. And that's what I love about it, because there is a lot of people that they think that they never tried something. They cannot make an assumption how it is, right? Because they haven't tried it. So basically they are based their judgment on somebody else's or their like initial thought how it will be. And but for me, I would rather make my opinions based on my own experiences, not by the others. That's it. And that's my ultimate reasoning why I'm a yes person.
Right. Yeah, all those experiences make up who we are. And the more we do, the more complete and full and interesting and amazing we can be. Yeah.
Exactly.
Saying yes to everything and saying no to nothing, I would I wouldn't recommend that
No,
either.
no, no. No, of course. I think there is a reason. I think what helps with what I'm saying yes to is the priorities. Like, for example, health is my big priority. So I wouldn't do anything that it's endangering or in this way. So it's all about kind of feeling it out. It's not like we are not kids anymore. It's not like if you would do it, if you would do it, then you would jump off the bridge too. Like, come on, just cut that bullshit. Like it's not
Right.
everything is absolute. You are adult, you have mind on your own. If you need like a guidance, then I'm sorry, you need to sign off the responsibility for your life to somebody else. Like there are programs and all of it. Like I don't
Right.
give a damn. If you cannot take a control and responsibility for your own adult life, then I'm sorry, but I don't know, just somebody else can help you, not us. So so yeah, and then we go to yeah, I got really into it. So how
Yeah, you said it really well as well, right?
yeah.
Choices are all depending on our own responsibility and our own common sense and not to be reckless.
Exactly. And,
That's a good.
I think we both lived in the US. You lived there longer, but I'm so sorry. But if you really need somebody to, like, oh my God, I'm so glad that I'm in Europe, not there, because I would like the liability that you need to think of because people are trying to push the responsibility for their everything into you, or like, good luck, I would say. So, how someone who is let's say a naysayer or like they haven't tried anything challenging in a while can prepare themselves for a challenge, so how they can prime for a challenge.
Yeah, the key word there is linking preparation with priming, right? They're pretty much the same thing. And so we're going to take 10 seconds right now and we're going to prime or prepare, right? So I would close your eyes because that's the fun part. And then reflect on an experience that helped you feel personally powerful when you felt totally in control of your own psychological state, when you had that confidence to act based on your boldest, most sincere self. Just take 10 seconds. Okie dokie.
Let's
So,
go.
right? So that felt good, right?
Yeah.
It's like whether you know it or not, that's exactly what priming is, right? Getting your mind into that psychological state where it's infused with these feelings of confidence and strength. And if you have that memory, well, you can just pull that one up right now and then away you go, right? Just take a few seconds to prime the mind. And then there's also a really great pose that I learned a long time ago, and it's funny. I was in sales, like I've been in the art and design field for like 23 years, but there was 1 year in there I did sales, and it was pretty hardcore sales. And so I was reading up this book, and it was talking about doing a superhero pose, right? And so you want to change the actual physiological and the chemical structure of the body by simply striking a Superman pose or like a superhero pose, and you put your feet shoulder width, and then your fists on your hips, and you stand there for what 20 seconds, and the entire physiological makeup of the chemical structure of your body will begin to change and be more confident, right? It's just something about that pose. And so I would actually, before a morning of calls or afternoon of calls, you'd see me in front of the computer just standing there, right? It's so hilarious. But then at the same time, you can compound that with thinking about that ultimate confident and strong self. And so right there in like 10, 20 seconds, you can just go into anything, if it's a presentation or a workshop or a webinar or whatever, that difficult talk with the client or your mother-in-law, whoever it is, and just you can walk in with a really brilliant presence that says, I'm here, I'm confident, and let's do this.
So it's quite simple, like how to tap into your ultimate badassery is by striking the superhero or superwoman pose.
Right.
And then we go into thinking about for 10 seconds about the moment when we're fully in charge. I think that's great. And also, yeah, I think that sounds perfect. So you have a recipe how to be invincible pretty much. So that's amazing. And you wanted to talk about these 5 levels of self-talk and how to program subconscious mind. I love the topic. Just as an introduction, there is this thing of our mind, it's conscious and subconscious. So conscious mind is something that you can think about, right? So for example, oh, I'm watching a podcast, that's very conscious. But there is a subconscious mind that is majority. I think it's shown often on the image as a tip of iceberg is the conscious mind, and the rest, big chunk is the subconscious mind. And the thing is that with conscious mind, you can have a conversation, whatever, but with subconscious mind, subconscious mind is the driver. And there is a lot of things that they are in there that they are undermining your current pursuit. For example, if you are exercising, but deep down you are feeling like I'll be fat forever and I don't deserve to be in the shape of my life, no progress will be made or will be made. And then you will get back to the returning point. So that's why important to make a long-lasting changes in your life to work with subconscious mind, because that's the driver, I would say, even if I don't like that, but that's the fact. How do I work with it?
Yeah, so the subconscious mind are beliefs that, well, there's a ton of them that came in before we were 8 years old, right? Because before that time, we believed everything as true. And that's the craziest thing, like science tells us that. So it's important that when we're building up our life, that we go into those subconscious programs and those beliefs and really figure out what's there, right? Believing something about ourselves. Because when, like you said, I want to go exercise, but I really feel like I'll never be fit, then it's like I'm not going to have that real big drive and motivation, and I'm not even going to know where it comes from. But I've actually created that a long time ago when I was, in a big heightened emotional state and said, I'm going to be unhealthy forever, right? It's like, uh-oh, right? So, yeah, this is where self-talk can come in so that when you're trying to make progress with something, you can hear something in the background going like, that'll never work or whatever. So there's this really great book from Chad Helmstetter, PhD, right? And it's called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. And so, right, it's like what used to be crazy. Now there's a PhD talking about it. So it's absolutely fantastic. And so he's defining self-talk as like this way to overwrite your past negative programming and by erasing it or replacing it with conscious, positive new direction. I go, ooh, well, that sounds pretty awesome. Let's do that. And then he goes through 5 different levels of self-talk. So the awareness is key. So once we see the full spectrum of those 5 levels, then we can understand when we hear it, oh, it's that one. Well, let's start to reprogram it. We can be more empowered as we go throughout our day facing these challenges. So the 5 levels of self-talk. The first one is called negative acceptance. And that's where you say, I can't, or I could never do that, right? Or I'm tired, I don't have the energy to do that, right? It's a little whiny voice that goes, nah, like we can't, right? It's that negative acceptance, that really limiting belief. And there's a ton of people that deal with that. And that's some really deep subconscious stuff that we can start to be aware of so that we can start reprogramming. And then the second one is called recognition and need for change. And that's when you hear or you would say, well, I need to, or I should, right? It's a little bit better, yet this is still not where we want to be spending our time. right? Because it recognizes a problem, yet it doesn't offer a solution.
Mm.
Right? And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for, upgrades. So the third level is called decision to change. And this is quite a big one. And you can hear it like, I will never, right? Or you say, I'm not, right? So this is when we've had enough, right? Let's say we go out drinking, we're hungover, and then the next morning it's like, I will never do that again, right? It's clear what you have to do and you know where to go from here. So if you say, I'm not a smoker and I don't do that anymore, right? It's powerful because you're sending new instructions to your subconscious mind. And this is where the empowerment comes from because you're not like a victim of the limiting beliefs that were put there really early, but you are taking back control. So, yeah, the decision to change. And then 4 is the better you. And this is, let's say, the most powerful kind of self-talk. And this is, you can state this as like the I am statements, right? I am in control of my life. I am amazing, right? I'm healthy, energetic, I'm awesome, right? This really inspires us. It inspires the mind, the soul, right? It encourages us to shift and to make progress. It excites us. And it also demands us to like be that, right? So we're pushing forward. And this is the level where we want to spend most of our time to optimize our lives, right? In the better you. And then the 5th and the final one in this spectrum of self-talk is called the universal affirmations. And this is, that final master level where those ancient mystics for, millennia have been experiencing oneness with the universe and source or God or, whatever you want to call it. And so we don't want to really jump into that stage until we've really solidified that better you, right? We want to make sure we're optimizing in there a lot. And that is how we can really upgrade ourselves by first noticing what's the self-talk like around these different challenging moments, and then jumping into stage 4, right? The solution state. I mean, like, okay, I've got this. Let's go.
Wow, I love that. I think this is the episode that not only I need to record for you guys, but it's also an episode that I need to hear myself because that's so relevant for my life. And here I just would like to take a moment that if you find our work that it brings value to your life, and as we hope so, because that's the entire purpose of us coming and talk about this topics every week, then I would love you to leave a review for us. And to be honest, I don't know exactly how to do it, so I cannot direct you. But if you could just figure it out from the platform that you're listening to the podcast, how to do it, I would be grateful for that. And I think Brian as well, right?
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, you can put the stars on Spotify, or you can add the 5 stars, hallelujah, on Apple as well. And yeah, leave reviews and comments and at all the different platforms and Substack and all that stuff. We'd really appreciate it. It'd be fantastic.
Yeah, so what an episode. We spoke about what is the link between challenge and progress, and that's kind of links to joy at the end of the day. Also how to be bold while facing the challenges, and also you learn how to prime yourself by doing the superhero or superwoman pose for 20 seconds, like standing like a superhero pose, like a superhero, and then coming back to the moment when you were like the most powerful self.
Right.
And then you learned about the 5 levels of the self-talk, about this coming through I can't to I am not that anymore, and then finalizing like who I am, like I am powerful. Or so it's kind of going for identity. So this is super powerful things, and if applied, then it will be life-changing. But we keep it practical in the podcast, so we have like a tiny challenge for you. And if you cannot find 30 seconds to do it in the next 7 days, I don't know what to say.
What are you doing with your life? Come on.
Would you do it? So there is the challenge. So it's coming from a person that climbed 2 tall mountains Kilimanjaro, Mont Blanc. I ran marathon, several half marathons. I did some challenging things in my life. But there is this one thing, no matter how many years I'm doing it, it's still challenging. And if you want to try to get out of your comfort zone, you don't need to travel by train to China. No, 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 no.
Right?
You go when you take a shower in the morning. After you are done, you are like sparkling clean. You turn the water from optimal, comfortable level to my ass, it's freezing kind of level, which is the max to the coldest. And you
Right.
stand for 30 seconds, and that's the task of the week.
That is easy and incredibly difficult all at the same time. That is an ultimate challenge right there. Can you stand 30 seconds in freezing cold water? Whew. Man, it's not easy, but it'll make you feel alive. And I can't wait to hear what everybody's got to say, because that is an amazing challenge. Right.
Exactly. And I've been doing it for years, and it doesn't get easier. No,
Right.
it's always like this moment when you turn it into the freezing cold, you are like hesitant. I think you need to train yourself, like, let's go, and then just say, like, I'm a person that takes cold shower, like I'm a Wim Hof. That's it. Like, just pretend. Just pretend for 30 seconds and let us know how it was.
Yeah. Yeah. And that reminds me, because tomorrow morning I'm gonna take a cold shower as well. Right?
Just so, like, I will be taking cold shower every day of the week.
Right.
Just to show my commitment. No problem.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely great in the morning for waking up.
All right. So that is it for today.
Yeah, thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in, and Julia for the amazing discourse as well. That's us for this week of the Joy Link.
All right. Thank you so much, guys, and have a great summer. I think it's all slowly finishing. So enjoy.